Like to welcome everyone to the August meeting for the Board of Trustees of the Liberty Lake Library. I'll start by taking a roll of everyone's attendance. Anna, are you here?
Here.
Okay, I think I heard that, yes. I know Jen's here. I see Barb. Michael, are you online?
You get online.
Hey, you're looking good today. I like that. Now that I'm here. And Jandy's here, so I think we're all good to go. There was some amendments to the minutes. I don't know if the people online, have they had a chance to review those amendments?
So I think Michael hasn't. I just barely forwarded them out.
Okay.
So I just barely sent them to his email.
Have you guys had a chance to review those amendments to the minutes? Michael?
I'm looking at that email from Jandy as well.
Okay, got it. I'll give you a few minutes to. Michael, when you're done, would you mind making a motion if you're okay with those amendments?
Yeah, he needs to talk to it.
Yeah, motion to approve those. The changes.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, it passes, minutes are approved. Are there any amendments, additions, changes to the agenda?
I don't have anything.
Okay. All right, motion to approve the agenda, please. Okay.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of approving the agenda? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're all good. And now we are on to citizen comments. I don't see anyone in the chambers. Jandy, do we have anybody online?
No, I don't have anyone online. We'll have an opportunity at the end of the meeting also for citizen comments. So if anyone joins us.
Thank you. Oh, there we go. All right. So now we are on to into our agenda, and today we have Lisa Key here will give us a overview of the capital facilities plan. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you, board members. For those of you online, I think Jandy has already forwarded the capital facilities plan. There's two pieces to this. We have the project descriptions and we have the spreadsheets because they don't mesh very well together in this format. And I do like to do the large format for the spreadsheets so you can actually read them. So we're starting early with our 6-year capital facilities plan. We are required every year to adopt a 6-year capital facilities plan. Typically, I know you're all very engaged, so I know that you probably already know this. So forgive me if I'm giving you an overly simplified primer on this, but we do this every year. Typically, we start the process in September, and it follows the same kind of timeline as the adoption of the budget. The capital facilities plan gets adopted as a 6-year capital facilities plan. The projects that are in the current budget year, so for this year, the 2026 projects, the final ones that are included in this will also be included in the 2026 budget, so they actually do get funded. If they're in the final version. So we're starting early this year because for a couple of reasons. Number one, because we want to get some citizen input. As I was saying before the meeting started, this is kind of a funny year because on the tail end of this, we will be really getting the results of our parks plan, the master facilities plan, transportation network analysis, sidewalk master plan, pavement master plan, all of which are going to then feed into a 20-year capital facilities plan for the city. And so, which is part of the comprehensive plan. So out years are a little fuzzier, and you're going to see on some of these where we have highlighted things that may change, particularly as it relates to the Parks and Public Facilities Committee, which I think is one that you in particular will be interested in. So our game plan for this, we're taking this to all the commissions because you are people that are already very engaged and knowledgeable about what goes on in the city. So our first blush is to try and engage all of you. Now, the city council has not seen this yet. We will be doing our first workshop with city council on September 2nd. I was hoping to get some input from the commissions before that. And I did want to point out to you that in terms of the one that I think they're most interested in, which is the second spreadsheet, the Parks and Public Facilities Plan, that right now we are showing, we showed the new city hall based upon our conceptual level cost estimates at Legacy Church. We also are showing asset management for the library building because we have to, obviously that's an asset that we have to keep taking care of, the HVAC and the roof and the things that we have to maintain a building. But we do have a new library community center reflected as PF 20. We're using cost estimates based on option 2 of the options that have been seen. We know they're just conceptual level cost estimates, but for purposes of discussion, they are in out years. We don't know if those will actually get budgeted or not, but that was based upon what we've seen thus far in the public engagement. It seems like hands down, that is the preferred option. So it only makes sense for staff to include the one that the community seems to be leaning towards. And again, that this is without the benefit of necessarily having council weigh in on this yet. So we're sharing all this with you on a couple things that, so again, the CFP was based on the adopted 2025 through 30 CFP with changes that we had adopted in the transportation improvement plan, which we also have to adopt every year in June. So we update the transportation piece. So that's usually easier what to do for this. But then, as I said, we've got all this input throughout the year on what's kind of the shifting timeline, shifting conditions for roads, all the discussion related to facilities. And one of the things that we do to put this together is literally all of the directors are involved in providing input into compiling this list and what they need and et cetera. So this has not yet been vetted even from a financial standpoint. That comes later. The first cut is just what do we need and what's the timing of it while trying to balance what staff is capable of managing in a given year. So you'll see that the costs are kind of balanced across years. We have some spikes because we have some bigger projects, but for the most part, we're trying to kind of balance those out. So that's kind of the basis for what this is. We're still in the midst of the sausage making. Don't take this as anything other than a very preliminary working draft that we thought we could push out to the community to get input. And we wanted to share this with you also because if you see what it takes to do a 6-year plan, I'm sure you can imagine how much bigger of an effort it's going to be to do the 20-year capital facilities plan for the comprehensive plan. And our hope is that each of the commissions will consider somebody on the commission to represent you on a working group to develop that 20-year capital facilities plan. And so that is my ask of you today is I just wanted to present this to you. I don't expect you to comment on it. I literally wrapped this up this morning in terms of this first preliminary draft. So it's hot off the presses. If you have comments, if you have things that you'd like to see addressed in this, I would encourage you to maybe even at your next meeting, have a conversation about it as a board and see what things that you might like to see and make those comments to me, or as citizens, just make the comment as individual citizens. Love to have that happen. But again, my hope is that you as a board will also consider, nominating a person from the Library Board of Trustees to sit on our work for the 20-year capital facilities plan. I don't have the data yet, and that's going to be happening probably much later in the fall as we start to see the results of all these plans and can start putting things together. But again, it's not too early to ask you to think about who on your board would be a good representative for that. So, do you guys have any questions for me?
Michael, have any questions?
What are the time requirements just for any of us who decides to go, like when, and kind of when the meetings
So-
happen? I know you don't have the final schedule yet, but just kind of a general idea for this group.
For the 20-year capital facilities plan, it would probably, I would see us having 4 or 5 meetings over the course of several months. They won't be super long meetings, but trying to kind of put it together, get feedback, etc. I think that one of the things that we're hoping is that this was something that was proposed to create a commission earlier, so I think it's absolutely appropriate to have a work group for our 20-year capital facilities plan as part of the plan. Again, one of the things that we're tasked with is early and continuous public participation, and we take that very seriously. So that is an opportunity for us maybe to look at this as proof of concept for future capital facility plans. And so that's just the thought process. So again, I don't need an answer today, but I wanted to at least have the opportunity to ask the question. And I will encourage you all to take a look at this. And again, as individual citizens or as a board, I'd love to get your feedback on it.
Anna, do you have any questions?
No questions here?
Okay, Jen?
Thank you.
I have.
Oh, yes, please.
Can I ask, first of all, could you explain what the red and the yellow highlights mean?
So the red, because we base this on the 2025 to 2030 capital facilities plan that was adopted, and then changes were made in transportation, based upon the transportation improvement program that we have to adopt in June. So anything that's different from those are in red. One of the things that we do each year is we look at construction cost indices. And we also look at, it's a producer price index, that BLS puts out for, machinery and equipment for the equipment. And this year we looked at a 15-year, a 10-year and a 6-year. And we decided that the 10-year was the appropriate one for construction cost index based on Mortenson's construction cost index for western cities. The equipment one, we used a 6-year because again, we thought that was the most conservative based upon, and because I think that that's probably an area where we anticipate the most volatility over the next couple of years.
Yeah. I get that. And the yellow highlight means,
The yellow highlight is just, is a cautionary note that it may change. I wanted to,
Okay.
so these are very preliminary numbers. And, for the, capital facilities in particular, I wanted to highlight those things that, really were dependent upon the outcome of the facilities master plan. So, I tried to use best numbers that we had. But I mean, so that is
great, thank you.
sure.
Thank you, Lisa.
And if you find any typos, I know that of all my typos, you have find typos of this, Thank you.
That's a lot of typing. All right, thank you. All right, now we are on to reports, and Mark is not here. Friends, I will just give a quick update. The Friends had their soiree huge success. Huge success, very well attended. It was probably, I'll put it right up there, one or two of all of the 7 or 8 that we've had so far in terms of attendance and quality and all that kind of stuff. It was very, very well done, and it was excellent, probably our best monetary return on that fundraiser that we've had so far. So lots of fun, lots of work, but very, very well attended, and lots of people, let's say a lot of people chipped in to make it happen. We appreciate that a lot. So that's my report. Unless anybody has any questions about what's going on with the Friends, they're just getting ready for, I will say this, they're getting ready now for upcoming fall book sale. And we are not considering, we have agreed to a new fundraiser that will occur hopefully in January. We have to work it out on our new restaurant at Trailhead. A family fun trivia tournament that people will enter and be fun, food, and laughter. Okay. So, Jandy, you're up.
So, it's been a while since I've seen everyone, I guess here in Chambers. It's been a pretty busy summer at the library as far as summer reading goes and that sort of thing. We've had lots of kids sign up for summer reading logs. We've had a lot of people sign up for library cards in general. We've been giving out a ton of those. As far as programming goes, we had Touch a Truck last month, July 18th at Orchard Park. As you guys know, that's my baby, my favorite activity to put on during the summer. We had about 3,000 people attend throughout the course of the morning, so about 1,000 more than years previous. So that was really great. We had more trucks than we've ever had also. And the police were able to bring out their SWAT vehicle, which was really fun for people to see. And the fire truck got called on a couple calls, and so they were back and forth, which was kind of fun for the kids to see it, pull out with its sirens on and then come back and that sort of thing. As far as the library project goes, as you guys know, we presented to the council in mid-July, and we've been doing some planned public engagements to get feedback on which of the options that our community members seem to prefer. We've posted things for option 1, 2, and 3. Option 1 is a standalone library. Option 2 is a library with a large community flex space. And then option 3 is a library with a smaller community flex space. We've done some public engagement at Barefoot in the Park. And then we had our open house last Thursday evening at the library. Our last public engagement will be at the farmers market on August 23rd. And then we're planning to bring a report back to council early September with the results on what the community is saying. I guess I should add, in addition to having it posted, having the poster board at those events with stickers that people can select their option, we do have a QR code and a survey on Zen City where they can digitally see the options and then make a selection. So they don't have to actually come to the event to make a vote.
Where are those QR codes being
So
publicized?
we have it on the main banner of the city's website.
Okay.
So across the top, it has alerts. And then we've had little flyers that we can pass out to people at those events. Or we have a large poster board where if they see, oh, what's going on, they can just scan it with their phone. But I do anticipate that the most people that have been filling it out have seen it on the city's website and are finding it online.
Do we have a poster or something at the library?
Yes, that as well. So just
Do
checking
people
in.
understand that the QR code is to go up to that survey and answer some questions and stuff?
Yes.
They're pretty much aware of that?
Yes.
Okay.
And And then, as you know, we'll have, the city council has put on an advisory vote. They've been meeting a couple times this month. If you hadn't heard the official question, I wanted to share it with you guys so you can hear what it is. The Liberty Lake City Council is calling for an advisory election to consider whether to fund and construct a new community center and library in the city of Liberty Lake. Should the city pursue the funding and construction of a new community center and library in the city of Liberty Lake? Yes or no? So that's the question. And then, they did end up forming the, what are they? I want to call working groups, but the for and against.
For and against.
Yeah, sorry. They did, forming the for and against, committees. And, I did hear that they were able to submit their for and against statements and their rebuttals in the time frame required. So we should have all the materials in the voters pamphlet. So that's great. I just didn't want any blank spots, as people are trying to make a decision.
Although if you look, Jandy, if you look at the question, the way it's formulated, it essentially excludes option 1, right? Because option 1 is just the library alone,
Yeah.
and the question says the community center and the library. So that's option 2 or 3.
Yes, so we just didn't feel as staff, like from the council, we had gotten a clear direction from all council members on whether, like, as far as our public engagement, we should do option 1, 2, and 3. So we just included all to cover all of our bases. But yes, if you do look at the advisory vote, it does seem to be for the library and community center, exclusively. So yes, that would be option 2 or option 3.
Jandy, was there an explanatory statement that precedes that question?
Yes, I know that there's the explanatory statement and then the questions, the question and all of that sort of thing. Sorry, this document has like a lot of information, and so I'm trying to see if it's on here.
That's okay.
Yeah, I don't think I see the explanatory statement. I think the resolution just has the question, but I know all the materials will be in the
Okay,
ballot.
got it.
So, sorry, I'm just trying to think of if I had anything else that I wanted to share as far as my report. Oh, so we will be talking about this. Let me see if it's later in the So we will be taking to the council on August 19th. Okay, yeah, so we do have our recommend. So just for some background, we will be taking the contract for the new library consortium, Inlandshare Library Group, to the council if you guys pass your action item today. So I know I provided you guys with the JPA and the bylaws for the new library consortium. So if our action item does go forward today, then I will be taking that to the council on August 19th for their approval. So let me share one more thing really quick. So the Inlandshare Library Group includes the Coeur d'Alene Public Library, Kellogg, Liberty Lake would be us, Mullen, Osborne, Pend Oreille, which includes Kalispell Valley, Ione, Meadowing Falls, and Newport, Plummer Public Library, Priest Lake, Silver Hills Elementary School Library, St. Mary's Public Library, Wallace High School, Wallace Public Library, and West Bonner, which includes Blanchard and Priest River. So those are all the libraries that would be included in the consortium. The other change is that we will be requiring non-resident users who live in Idaho, not Washington, but non-resident users who live in Idaho to purchase a non-resident card if they want to use our library. So these would be people who live outside of any of those library districts. Basically, they, for the last 20 years, that we've been in this consortium, they have been charging for Idaho non-resident users, and we have not. And so in order for us to join, they said, it doesn't feel fair that somebody could go to Liberty Lake and get it free, but then if they come over here to Coeur d'Alene, they would have to pay. So we have agreed, and as long as you guys are in agreement as well, we'll be charging our Idaho users for non-resident library cards.
If we
Yes.
have questions.
Yes.
Should we ask them now or wait till we have a discussion about it?
I guess we should probably wait till we have a discussion. Maybe I'm getting a little ahead of myself.
Okay.
So this is part of your report, but,
Yes.
so we would do that probably down when we have the, action item, we have a discussion on it. I think that'll be-
Just want to make sure. Got it.
Got it, no, we'll have a discussion
Okay, maybe I'm getting a little ahead of
before
myself.
we approve.
Yes. So
Or not approve.
I guess that's all I have as far as my report goes for you guys today.
Anybody have any questions for Jandy and her report? Any comments? Busy summer.
Oh, I have one
Oh,
question.
okay.
Yeah.
In the, one of our past recent meetings, you said that you were hoping to, hire a new children's librarian. And how's that going?
So we made an offer and our offer wasn't accepted, unfortunately. And we didn't, we weren't wild about any of our other candidates. So we reopened the posting and we are doing 2 interviews tomorrow and a 3rd interview next week. And this will be a first round interview. So normally I do 2 rounds of interviews, one that's more question based and then the other that's more practical. So hopefully I'll have some good news for you guys at our September meeting as far as that goes.
Correct. Any other questions for Jandy? Okay. All right, so now we are on to, talking about our September report to the council. So, I've already asked Barb if she would help out, and she has agreed to do that. Since, we were trying to go around so that this council can get to know everyone. So, Jandy, what do you, envision, having in that report for the council?
So I envision taking it a little bit different direction. If you guys remember, we just, last meeting, we had passed our revisions to our, is it circulation? Circulation.
Right.
We had passed our revisions to our circulation policy. And this would be our first policy that we're bringing to the council for approval. So I had kind of planned for us to kind of give a presentation on what changes we made to the policy and then ask the council for their feedback. Does that
For
sound?
the circulation policy.
Yes, for the circulation policy.
That's the only part of the report?
Yes, I had planned to focus purely on the policy since that's not something we had done
Okay,
previously.
Do you want to double up with the policy we're looking at today, or do you want to do the policies individually with the council?
I guess it just depends on if we finish this policy today, we'll bring it back at the next meeting for,
That's true.
before it goes to
We
the
might be off.
council,
so we
Yeah.
might be a little bit off.
right? I don't
So,
think we'll be able to have it ready for that. So,
That's the date. Just want to make sure I have the right date.
so you said something earlier, and I kind of assumed it would be part of the September report.
so I was thinking September 16th. Does that work for you? Because we
Yeah.
can do a different week if something else works better.
That's good.
Okay.
6 PM here,
Yes,
but we'll meet before that.
yes, of course.
So you said something else about a September report early on when you were giving your, it was in regards to the,
Oh, yes.
so
So that's one I would be giving with Mark and Ben, not with the board.
that would be the
No.
report from,
Yeah.
the board to them.
Yeah, so that would be specifically on the public engagement with the new library.
Okay,
So
got
that's something I'd work.
it. So
with
that's a
Mark and Ben
different
on.
report altogether.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I plan to have us do our own library board of trustees report
right.
at the following meeting, September
Got it.
16th.
clarification.
So my plan would be to meet with Barb and come up with what our presentation is gonna look like and that sort of thing. And then bring that back to you guys to see before, because we would meet on the 10th. The board would, and then we would give it to council on the 16th.
Got it.
So, just since this is something we haven't done before, work with Barb on it and then get any, feedback you guys might have on it as well.
Can you think you can get that out, at least a day before
Yeah.
we meet, so we could
Yeah.
review it?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so that is the, report. So now we need to look at the library eligibility card eligibility.
So this is where I was getting ahead of myself. Let me pull up the screen. There. So this is our library card eligibility policy. So if we move forward with charging for non-resident library cards, we would need to change that portion of our policy. So previously, we have not charged for library cards for anyone, regardless of where they live. A huge portion of this is because we have a reciprocal agreement with Spokane County Library District, which means that any of our patrons from Liberty Lake can go to Spokane County Library District and get what we call a basic library card. So it gives them access to the physical materials in the library at any of the Spokane County Library Districts. It does not give them access to the digital resources, so like the Libby app, any of their databases that they might have. Also, it doesn't give them access to, I've heard it doesn't give them access to the Library of Things collection, or the like tickets to like the symphony or that sort of thing. All of that they have to do through Liberty Lake. So it's a basic library card. So I'm explaining that because a non-resident card is different. A patron pays for that card. I'm proposing $30 would be the charge. The card is good for 1 year, so they have to pay for it each year, but it would give them full access to the library. So it would give them access to the physical materials, our digital materials, our databases. It gives them a full access library card. So that's the changes we would have to make to our library policy. To me, the other directors brought this up to me as we were talking about forming the Inlandshare Library Group, just saying that it isn't fair that somebody could go to Liberty Lake and it's free, but if they come to Coeur d'Alene and have to pay $30, it should be the same across the board, which is something that I get. I agree with that. The other piece of it is that $30 is how much it costs us to buy one physical book. So one adult book, if you're gonna go buy out for the library, if you're gonna go buy a James Patterson book or something, for the library, it costs $30. So if you look at it that way, it is a pretty good deal where they're getting access to all of the books, all of the databases, all of our digital materials for $30 a year. So,
Jandy, do you have any idea how many people might fit into this category going forward, just based on cards that you've given out to this point? How many people might fit into that category?
so this would be anyone in Idaho.
I got that, but do you
Yeah.
have a number that you think might, from just giving out cards to this?
So the place that we could be getting people from is Community Library Network. So Post Falls is where I would think we would get the most residents, is if they decide they want to get a Liberty Lake library card specifically. Obviously, they'll still have access to their library system in Post Falls, Hayden, Rathdrum, but that's where I think we will see people, is we'll see them from Post Falls. I just don't know how people feel, if they're gonna be like, oh yeah, $30, that's a bargain, or if they'll be like, no, I'm just gonna go to Post Falls and I'll use their library.
Right.
We do have some patrons who do come to us specifically because we live closer to them. So I do think we'll get a handful, but it will be hard to know until we start doing it. Yeah,
So another question, it's not in regards to the monetary amount,
yes,
but if we go up to scope,
yes,
scope does not say anything about accessing the IL whatever G materials that are, because it just says library, municipal, our library and online resources. Do we need to update that to include materials that they can access by this agreement?
yes, so I think that is a good point, I think we should add that,
Okay.
yes.
Since they're paying $30 and they want to know that they're part of that whole, that's one of the reasons why.
And all of the places that it says today.
Yes,
Yes.
Gonna have to get used to that ILG.
yes, yes, it's gonna be all of us.
Yeah, I have to look, it looks like that. It's just my screen.
Sorry, I think there's like a dot on my screen, so it keeps looking like there's a period or something there, but I don't think there actually is. So I guess I wanted to hear from the board if any of you have any concerns or apprehensions about charging $30 a year for library cards.
Jandy, I have a couple of questions. So I found, looking at this without knowing this discussion with CIN, I found it very unusual to have the entire state of Washington and Idaho eligible there. I think that's very unusual for libraries across the country, and a very, very wide coverage. Most of the libraries will allow usually that reciprocal card if you live in that county.
Yes.
So I fully support the idea of removing Idaho there, and then even propose, consider limiting Washington to Spokane. And part of that is because we have very long waiting lists for a lot of those items. So I think it will benefit the people who fund the library and the core users of the library, which are the residents of Liberty Lake, to have better access to that. I think that's one thought that I have. Second, I do think we should have a non-resident fee. Probably $30 is fair considering the size of our library, because those fees are usually much higher if you look at like Boise or Seattle or any other large area, but they also have a lot more items in their collections.
Yes, I looked around because I thought that might be a question. Spokane County's is $42. Ponderay, which is $50. Coeur d'Alene's is $30. And then some of the smaller libraries in Idaho, like I asked at our meeting, are $25. So what I've seen recently ranged from $25 to $42. But yeah, I'm sure if you're in Seattle or something, it could be significantly higher as well.
I also think that the non-residents should be limited to essentially what we have with Spokane County Library. So only the items, the physical items, and then not to the other resources.
So I think the point is that you pay, so you get a full access card.
Right.
So that's the difference between the non-resident and the basic. So the basic is what we provide to Spokane County, which is they can have access to our physical resources. The argument being that then they go to Spokane County and they can access their digital materials there. With the non-resident card, it's you pay, and so you get full access because you're paying. So it's kind of like the same idea as somebody who is paying their taxes. They're paying for full access. This is what this person is doing to pay for full access. Does that make sense?
So if it includes all the digital items and everything else, is $30 the right amount when we compare what we have compared to what other libraries have, not just the physical items?
So I went with $30 because that's what Coeur d'Alene charges, and they had done a survey 2 or 3 years ago on what the average resident pays for a library card. That's not a family. Like obviously a family might pay more. That's for a single resident was $30. So I felt like we were similar. To me, Coeur d'Alene is still a little bit bigger than us, but that seemed like the most apples to apples comparison I could find. Spokane County's 42, but I felt like they have more resources and more libraries than we do. We're just a single standalone library.
And
So-
is there an option for a family pass, something like, I don't know, $30 per person or $50 for a family? So if there's more family members, because they will tend to share some of those resources anyway, or it gets too complicated.
I think the idea is that it's $30 per card, and if you want to get 3 cards, you have to pay for 3 cards. The reason I feel okay about just getting 1 card is that 1 card gives you access to 100 books. And I don't have any patrons who check out more than 100 books. So for me, I'd be like, here, get a non-resident card for, get 1 non-resident card, put it under mom or dad's name, and just use it for your whole family.
Can use it for.
Yeah, and then the whole family can
That's
use
what I
it.
was. So I have you have another question, Michael? I don't want to.
No, it's mainly the other thing was like limiting to Spokane County instead of entire Washington state. And I don't know what you guys feel about that, and if there's any reason to keep it broad like that as opposed to more, reciprocal to the libraries that we partner with.
I'm not opposed to doing like the Spokane County. I wanted to hear other people's thoughts, but that is a pretty standard practice is to just do with it, not the whole state, but in a regional area. So I'd be interested to see what you guys think about that.
Jandy, I agree with Michael.
Hey, can you talk a little bit louder?
Can't hear you,
Can you
Anna.
hear me now?
A little bit better.
A little bit better. So I definitely agree with Michael when it comes to getting access to all of Washington. That doesn't seem accurate. Like he said, people in Seattle can come and, have access. Spokane 100%. But also another thing, how many current non-resident cards do we have? And are they grandfathered in to their existing, full access cards? Or are we going to make them pay it when the 2-year renewal is up?
I think that would be a good question. So we don't have non-resident cards right now. We just have basic cards, and that's 1/4 of our usage. So 1/4 of our usage comes from basic cards. I don't remember the last time I saw one that didn't have a Spokane address on it, but that's something I would definitely want to look at and bring back to you at the next meeting on if we have any patrons that are outside of Spokane County. We definitely have City of Spokane.
Yeah, I'm just
But-
curious how that's going to affect the current card holders if they're, actively using our services, which is great. And obviously returning. But the whole, maybe limiting to Spokane, I definitely agree with Michael there. It seems like too wide of a net that we're kind of casting. I mean, if someone comes in from Seattle and then there's no late book fees, they're just gonna keep our books, go back to Seattle, forget about it and be done because we've now given them access to all of this literature.
Well, let's read the statement. I'm Jen, just a minute. It says Washington State and Idaho that provide equitable tax support for public library services. Don't we get some support from state services? We don't. Do our patrons have access to state services through our library? Can we access their services through our library?
So, I'm trying to figure out so when I read this statement, I hear, to me, it sounds like they're paying library tax somewhere else, so they should have access to ours. That's what it kind of sounds like to me. Is that how everyone else is reading it?
Well, no.
But that's not standard practice about that. Like it's usually,
No.
where your taxes go, that's where you get the services.
Yes. So, if we're getting, the thing we get access to from the state is access to like the Washington Talking Book and Braille Library. we get access to the Gale, databases, which is just like our general databases.
That's what I'm asking you.
Yes. Those are the two big ones that I can think of. And then obviously Washington Anytime Libraries, but that's something everyone pays into for the state. But
Jandy,
that
a resident of Liberty Lake cannot get a Spokane Public Library card, can get a Spokane County Library District card. Is that accurate? Or we cannot get a Seattle Library card.
Yes, you're correct.
So to me, the rule should be it's reciprocal. So where we can get a card, they should be able to get a card too. To me,
Yes.
that's the fair rule.
Would agree with that. Jen, you had a comment?
Just, thinking about extending the option into Idaho, Post Falls, Coeur d'Alene,
Mhm.
with the number of people that commute across state line to work, I think it would be reasonable to continue to offer that non-resident.
Yeah.
Excuse me, into Idaho.
So I guess what I'm hearing so far is, we would, basic library cards, so basically, basic library cards would be offered to residents and property owners in jurisdictions within Spokane County.
And Idaho.
I don't think it necessarily would be Idaho, it would be,
Probably Kootenai County, right?
no, so we're supposed to, under this new agreement, we would charge for Kootenai. Yes. So basically, our basic library card would apply to Spokane County Library District residents, because that's who we have the reciprocal agreement with.
Okay.
That's for just base.
Yes, just for basic. And then obviously anyone who lives in Liberty Lake could get a Liberty Lake library card. And then anyone who lives within the Inlandshare library group could get a library card. And then anyone else would need to pay for a non-resident card, $30 a year.
So if they're part of the Inlandshare library group,
Yes,
they would not have to pay? So if it, say they're one of those,
yes, so it would be,
the list you.
yeah, Plummer, Osborne,
Yeah.
West Bonner, Priest River, Priest Lake, St. Mary's, Wallace, those
They wouldn't
libraries.
have to pay.
No.
Got it.
So basically what I would need to do is change this up here. This says, Cooperative Information Network member libraries. It would be Inlandshare Library Group. I can't type because everyone's staring at me. In my mind, everyone's staring at me. Member library boundaries. And then City of Liberty Lake staff.
So I'm trying to figure something out here, Jandy, help me out a little bit, so do we have 3 cards then?
Yes,
Okay, but, so, do we need to define what the first, what a Liberty Lake library card is? I don't know, so we have a Liberty Lake library card.
yes,
We have a basic card,
yes,
and we have a non-resident card.
yes.
Okay,
And the non-resident card you pay for, but then it is a Liberty Lake library card.
got it. So,
Yes.
where in our policy does it differentiate between a Liberty Lake library card and a basic card? I'm trying to find that, if you can help.
Yes, it's further down. So sorry, we're kind of going into the eligibility. So benefits, right here. So the Liberty Lake Library card holders may borrow materials from Liberty Lake and from the CIN network. They can,
LG network.
yes. They can request materials via interlibrary loan. They can access all our premium online library resources, ebooks, and our research databases. And then they can, I guess, access the computers. And then come down to basic. A basic library card user can borrow books and they can access materials inside of the library.
Got it. That's.
Yes.
Thank you.
So if they wanted to use our streaming network, they could in the library, but they can't do it from home. So that's the difference.
And can basic library card holders use the space at
Yes,
the library and rent books? Rent rooms?
yes.
And do we want to keep it that way, knowing that that's going to be, a limited resource and we're already fighting for space here? So why not prioritize the space for the Liberty Lake residents?
is that in a different policy, use of space? No? Do,
To double check the meeting room, just to me, it's the physical library, so it's just like somebody can come in and use the physical library. I would want to extend that courtesy to them, but that's just my perspective. Just like they can come in, they can go to story time, they could use the meeting room, but I get what you're saying with it being really busy.
I mean, the whole discussion right now is how it's a costly resource for us,
Yes.
especially as we expand into a new library. So I do think at least we should have priority for the residents of Liberty Lake for using the space.
Mhm.
but if they pay $30 for a.
Yeah, then they would,
resident card,
Yes.
they should get all the benefits, so.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember he said basics specifically, yeah.
Based.
Jandy, earlier you mentioned that the basic card did not include access to the library of things. Does that need to be spelled out here in benefits?
So that's not, I don't know how to, limit that within the catalog. So that's just
Oh,
something that
gotcha.
Patron told me. I
Gotcha.
haven't called Patrick to verify if that's the case,
Okay,
because that's a physical item in the database.
okay.
So that's something I haven't verified yet, so, to see. But generally, to me, those are like a physical item.
Well, if it extends to the physical collection, then that does seem like that would be an odd place to draw the line. So,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
that works.
So Jandy, how many people or groups
Mhm.
do we have that are not residents or groups affiliated with our city that actually book space? Would you say?
I don't know that I have a number.
Do you know of any that have?
That have like,
Any that are outside the city that have book space?
I would assume so, but I don't know for sure.
Got it.
I have to go, it's one of those things where we have to look through look through the database. Cause I don't know that we actually ask them to like put in their library card. I don't think it's a requirement. There's like definitely a button where you put it, but it's not like a star where you have to put your library card number in.
But we should also be proactive with this and think ahead that we will have a much bigger library with a flex space attached to it in the near future. And I do think with the investment that we're gonna make into that, we should prioritize the residents of Liberty Lake for that resource.
I'm gonna have to think about that one, Michael.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Not sure. I mean, the library should be accessible for everyone. I just feel like a library, and that's, I mean, I feel like it should be open for everyone. It's a place to learn, it's a place to gather. I don't know, I'll have to think about that. I understand where you're coming from, and I understand, Liberty Lake residents' priority, but that's something I have to weigh a little bit.
And also because we are more committed to this type of resources, right, than other places. I do think because of that commitment that this city has, we should prioritize our own residents.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know that it would be a big problem, but, so, but, yeah.
Can't imagine people wanting to have, I mean, it's not like we have a big space. If we had a big public space where people could hold any kind of service. That would be different, but you have little spaces and I can't imagine anybody wanting to.
Well, I'm optimistic that we will have a large space hopefully in the near future. So that's kind of what I'm.
Like your optimism.
I would advocate for, keeping an eye on it, and if it is a resource that becomes abused, then we can reevaluate how that resource is accessed. But until we see that that resource is being abused, I don't know that there's a reason to put a limitation around it.
And what's the definition of abuse? Because what I'm going with is the waiting time, right? So when you have a long, that's why I was going with the books too. If you have 20 people in line for a book, which can happen sometimes, right? Then you try to prioritize the people who support this library directly. So same thing with the space. I think it's hard to abuse. How do you abuse this renting the space? How do you measure that accurately? It's the priority for the residents who decide to fund this space and the beautiful new library and community or flex center.
With the new library and a community flex space, I'm not sure that the library would be in charge of monitoring the groups that are in that and using that flex space. I mean, they would have some input into that, but I would think that would be kind of monitored like the Rotary Room is with Trailhead. That's just my initial thinking. I don't know if that would be the case, but and I know there are groups that are outside the city that use that space, but so. And one way to also kind of monitor that a little bit is if you are a library card holder, let's say the library that becomes and is associated and a part of the library, which we don't know that yet. You can always charge a fee for anyone that is outside the city to use any space. So I think there's ways to work around it, but something we definitely need to think about for sure.
Yeah, and I think renting for a fee is a different thing. I'm totally for that for somebody from outside the area.
But I don't think we can address that until we actually have a space.
So for the
That
seat in front of us.
yeah, I think I agree with being proactive, and I'm on board with your optimism, Michael, and I hope that we are going to be charged with having to consider that in the future in our policy making.
I'm trying to find the reactions in Zoom for fingers crossed, but I don't find it. So
Anything else on the policy, Jandy?
No, so what I'm going to do is, after the meeting today, I'm gonna download what I have and send that out to you guys so you can see the red lines. And then if you guys notice anything you want changed, can you make a note of that and send that my way?
Got it.
Just send it to me directly and then I'll send it out to everyone just so we don't get into like a conversation piece.
Yep.
And then my plan would be that we would review it at the next meeting. And
September.
Review it in September and vote in October.
probably, yes.
Yeah.
How does that line up with the plan to
Right.
join the Inlandshare?
So that would go live in October. So,
About the same time.
yes. So I think what we would do hopefully is if you guys can get me your notes before the meeting, then we could see it before the meeting and review it at the meeting and hopefully adopt it at the meeting.
Adopted at the
So then it's
September.
ready to go for October
Right.
1st. Yeah, so if we can, let's try to have it done for the October 1st deadline.
Got it. So
Sorry,
our goal is to adopt at the September meeting.
or yeah, at our September meeting.
Got it. Okay. Any other discussion on the library card, policy? Michael?
Nope.
Anna?
No, sir.
Okay, Bart? And Dan already said no, so we're good. Okay, so, now we are on to our action item. And so, has the recommendation, and Jandy has, put this forward, the recommendation is that we, join the, Inlandshare Library Group, with the, under the bylaws submitted, and then that would go to our council. So Barb, you, this is open for discussion before we put it up for a vote.
So I think I read that our city attorney has looked at this
Yes. Yes.
and didn't have any suggestions.
No, so he reviewed the bylaws and the, JPA,
Joint powers?
Joint Powers of Agreement. We've been reviewing these since October, and then, so he reviewed the old ones, he's reviewed the new ones, so he's been able to submit any questions or changes that he had. Most of his changes have been like clerical, different things, so nothing major. So yeah, he's in favor of us moving forward with it.
And I don't recall how many libraries were in CIN.
Yes.
Is this gonna make a big difference financially for the library?
No, so it shouldn't have any financial impacts. So the libraries that aren't joining are, Community Library Network, which is Post Falls, Hayden, Rathdrum, Pinehurst, Athol, I want to say are the 5, and then, the Benoit County Library District, which is 2 small libraries. So, but no, we've gone through the budgets and that sort of thing, and it won't have any financial implications. Yes.
And then, maybe an odd question, but why some school districts and how do we differentiate, school district libraries are different and run differently and patrons are a different group, at least those that I'm familiar with. So maybe in the smaller community.
I know it's a very small community. It's Wallace High School and then Silver Hills. I don't know the context of like why they joined, other than they joined before I was here. But obviously, like, they don't send out any books during the summer or anything like that. I think it's just trying to get books in the kids' hands that they aren't able to purchase themselves or that sort of thing.
I would anticipate it's a funding issue for the school district.
Right.
Yeah.
Libraries are real expensive.
Yeah, no, I know there, but it's like, do adults in those communities access their books through the library?
So I know like Wallace has the Wallace Public Library, and I think it said Wallace High School.
Yep.
And then it was Silver Hills.
Mhm.
Let's see. So I think Silver Hills is maybe the elementary school, and then there's Wallace High School. Because I know it's the same librarian that runs both of them. So I'm wondering if she splits her days, like A days she's at one and B days she's at the other. So I want to say it's their elementary school, or maybe their middle school. So it's one of their younger schools, and then the high school, and then they have the public library.
So, I mean, school districts are different and run differently than a public library. So I just wasn't sure how that intersected, and if it's gonna be.
I don't think, it hasn't been an issue as long as I've been here.
Okay,
They were all members of the CIN before this all happened, correct?
Yes,
So there
yes.
hasn't been any change in that.
No.
Got it.
So,
So they're not additions
no,
to what was already there.
no, yeah. Yeah, so they were already there.
okay. I was I was like, what
Yeah.
school district doing in there?
Mhm.
As long as it's worked in the past, I'm okay.
Yes,
It was seeing odd.
yes.
Any other discussion about the bylaws or the joint powers agreement?
Nope.
All right. Yes, Michael.
No, I said no.
Oh, you said no. Okay. So if I could, have a motion from someone that would recommend the, Liberty Lake Municipal Library join the Inlandshare Library Group. I'd entertain that motion.
So moved.
Okay. So move second, and so we'll take a vote. This time we'll have an aye and a show of hands, so I can see it all from everyone. So all in favor, say aye and show me a hand.
Aye.
I got a
My hand is up.
I see it,
promise.
I see it, there you are, got it, thank you, okay, so passes 5-0. So that'll be our recommendation, to the, council to join the new Inlandshare group for libraries.
Yes, so this will be on the agenda for, Tuesday's meeting, August 19th, with the council.
Okay. All right. Any other comments by any board members? In regards to anything we've discussed today? Or want to discuss in the future?
I just wanted to thank Jandy, because this kind of stuff takes a lot of time and a lot of, eyes on very specific things and takes away from your time that normally would be spending on other library stuff, so thank you.
Oh, thank you guys.
Yeah, no,
For sure.
this girl has been busy this last 3 months. She has
Yeah.
been,
The consortium and the new library at the same time was a little bit tricky.
Yes,
she's
thank
been-
you.
Definitely
Definitely.
appreciate her work for sure. Okay, all right. We'll entertain any citizen comments. Jandy, do you have anybody online?
No, I don't have anyone online and I don't see anyone in chambers.
All right, I think chambers are empty. Okay, so now I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
So moved, and we are adjourned. All right, thanks everyone for being here today, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.